welcome back to 100 Days of Data with Miss Mailiana. Is day 42. Alright, so we are still working on some codes for you to get started. We are baptizing you into codes actually. Alright, so today we're going to be visualizing in Python. So the very first thing is we're going to import our pandas again and import a new library called the Matplotlib. So let's do that. Okay, so I am going to take it one after the other. Alright, so run this and run this as well. Alright, that is done. The next thing we do is, for this teaching purposes, we are creating our own data sets, simple ones that we could just use to analyze. So we are creating our data sets called data. Alright, let's say okay, we can just name it data, and let's run it. And now let's actually move it into a data frame and run it again. Let's see how it looks like. That's how it looks like. Month here, sales here, good to go, straightforward. Now you're going to create our bar chart. Okay, so this is the code you're going to be using. Right, so you can pause this video and go through the code. So let's try to understand the code. Remember, now AI can help you know the codes, but you should know what the code is about. So we are saying df stands for the data frame, right, which is this. Okay, so now we say we want to plot the data frame where x, right, so x is mostly the vertical sorry sorry, so x is mostly the horizontal line and y is the vertical line. So you have that, right, and then the kind is the bar, right? So the kind is what type of data plot are you doing? So the bar plot. Then now we say, well, the title is going to be called what? Sales by month. The x label is going to be called month, and then the y label is going to be called sales. So let's run that. All right. Okay, so let's um let's see how the plot looks like. Okay, it's here. We just did our first plot. In fact, you should see me right now dancing to it. So this is, if you follow religiously, this will be your very first chat in Python. Alright, so now let's move on to create a line chart. Okay. Alright, so line chart also has what? The x-axis, y-axis, then what kind of this one you're doing, and we also run that. And we have a line chart. You get it? Alright, so at this point you should be getting like happy, like how I am happy right now. Alright, so let's run. This is what a histogram, right? So let's run it. So you see how histogram is if you don't really know how to read histogram, you wouldn't really know how to position it, right? But you see, a bar chart is easy to go through, but a histogram doesn't. It's just talking about distribution. So it's trying to say that within the sales, right, the sales 200 to 50, right, so that's between um 200, oh sorry, 200 to 50. So between 200 and 250 we had about more people around here. 300, it was just a few and all that, right? So that is our histogram. So we've done 3 charts now, and that is it for today. In fact, let's go over again for you to get it, because I feel like the video is going to be short. Right, so very first thing is what we import our pandas again. What does pandas do? Pandas help us actually create our data, move it into a data frame and all that. Then we imported a second library called the Matplotlib, right? So this is the code we used, and then we created a simple data set. Then we did this. So you can also come up with more simple data set to also try your hands on, then move it into a data frame. After moving into a data frame, we did our bar chart, and this is our bar chart looking beautiful. We did our line chart, and you actually can copy this right? Copy output to clipboard. You can copy it, and let's see if I can paste it somewhere here for you, right? And paste it. So that is the beauty of things, right? Okay, so we've come to the end of today's video. Very short, quite simple, and I hope that as you also watch and practice, you also find it as simple as it is. And as you go on with this simplicity, it makes it easier for you to actually understand the whole scope of things. Okay, thank you so much for learning with us, and I'm going to see you on video number 53. Right, bye for now.